and welcome. I am Jennifer Jans, a fabulous food stylist and company. Today I am here to tell you about ice cream. Now, I know I've had a lot of conversation lately in the food styling critique Facebook group with you guys, and the topic that keeps coming up is ice cream. I know it is one of the most difficult foods to style, and after 20 years, actually 22 years of food styling professionally for advertising, I'll tell you I have learned a lot. But at the beginning, it was me practicing and making a lot of mistakes. So what I wanted to do with this workshop is kind of introduce you to the idea of food styling and also share with you some of my top secrets for styling food and ice cream. So what I want to go over too is, when is it appropriate to use fake ice cream as opposed to real ice cream? Again, another topic we've been discussing a lot in the Facebook group. And anybody that is not part of the Facebook group, it is called Food Styling Critique. You can just look it up on Facebook. It is a free group, and we are always talking about all different food topics and looking at everybody's food photos and critiquing them. So we're going to discuss fake ice cream and when we can use that and when it is not appropriate to use that. We're also going to talk about my top 5 favorite ice cream tools that you must have when you're styling ice cream. And then we're also going to talk about my 5 top reasons that photo shoots with ice cream fail, or you find yourself doing them again and again because you can't keep the ice cream from melting. So let's get started. Fake ice cream. Here we have mint chocolate chip ice cream. I actually made this for a client a couple weeks ago, and it was for a client that manufactured the ice cream cone. So that would be my first example of a way that you can use fake ice cream and still have a sense of truth in your photo. So if you're advertising the cone, or say you're advertising the ice cream topping, it is acceptable then to use fake ice cream. If I could use fake ice cream all the time, I would, because it's obviously a lot easier. You can spend hours on set playing with your props and getting the toppings just right and the angles and the lighting and all of that. So fake ice cream is definitely easier. So when else would we use fake ice cream? Let's say you are a food blogger and you have a recipe for pumpkin pie. So you set up your pumpkin pie, you want to do a scoop of ice cream in the back. Again, your recipe is for the pumpkin pie. If you can do a fake ice cream that looks beautiful and real and has like that little bit of melt to it, you don't want something that looks fake. If you do it that way, I think that you would be saving yourself, first of all, a lot of trouble and worry. You also will be able to be on set longer with your pie, which is your product that, or your recipe that you're featuring. Again, you have to make it look real, or people aren't going to believe your photograph, obviously. So those are a couple ways that you can use fake ice cream. I have never used fake ice cream advertising ice cream. It's actually against the law to use fake ice cream if you are advertising ice cream. And that's here in the United States. And I know a lot of you are watching from all over the world, and I am not sure of the legalities in your country. But here in the US, you have to use the food that you are advertising. So that's where all the special preparation and techniques come into play when you have to use your real ice cream. So I'm going to talk about that next. My top favorite 5 tools that I always have with me. I actually have a kit with over 20 different tools that is just in my ice cream kit. But some of these are real simple, and some of them you probably have not heard of before. So my first favorite tool are actually these little bamboo skewers. Now, they've got a really great pointed end to them. I like to use them on the ice cream to actually help make the texture. You can do this with fake ice cream. You can do it with real ice cream. These are great. They're inexpensive. I have a million of these in my kit. I use them for all sorts of things with food styling, but especially with ice cream. Another thing, I have these just old-fashioned regular ice cream scoops. I have them in about 12 different sizes. They, to me, give the best texture with the spring mechanism. Again, fake ice cream or real, these are my go-to ice cream scoops. I know there are other ones out there, paddles, and some smaller, not spring-loaded scoops. These I find again and again are the ones that I use because it is that spring and it's the releasing of that that gives your ice cream a really great texture. The other tool that you may not have heard of before is, it's called Blow Off. I think there's another brand called Dust Off. A lot of the photographers will use this to dust off their equipment, especially camera, lenses and that kind of thing. So the cool thing about this is you turn it upside down and you spray it, and it actually will spray out a freezing spray. So if you have an ice cream cone and your ice cream's just starting to drip, you can spray this on that drip and it will help make it last just a little bit longer. Love this stuff. I get it on Amazon, and I know there's a couple different names, but this is the one that I use. A lot of people don't know about that trick, but it's great for just having handy on set. The other thing I like to work with, I'm not sure if you can see the marble here. I use cold marble to set my ice cream on when I'm working on it, and near set, if it's nice and cold, again, you put your scoop right on it, it will keep it cold just long enough for you to work on it. So those are my favorite tools. There are a lot more, but those are definitely my go-to tools. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you about today is the reasons that photo shoots don't go so well with ice cream. And one of the top reasons is preparation. So if you are not fully prepared with all your tools, you have your ice cream all ready to go, it's frozen, it's been in the freezer for a couple of days, it needs to be frozen at 0 degrees. And not just for an hour or two, it really needs to sit in the freezer for a couple of days, and you need to be able to turn your freezer down to 10 degrees at most. So some of that pre-planning that's going on is really going to save you the day of. Another tip is having the room cold enough. Now, I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but I have worked at photo shoots where it's been 80 degrees in the studio, and the ice cream melts before you can do anything with it. air conditioning is super, super important. I don't care how frozen that ice cream is. If your room temperature is warm, humid, you are just not going to have a successful photo shoot. And I know that's not always possible. And you know, a lot of times what I'll do before a photo shoot, when I'm at a studio, is I will call them a couple days before and make sure they know, first of all, what to set the freezers at, and also the air temperature. I also will have the ice cream delivered a couple days early, so it's sitting in that freezer and not being transported by me in my car or in a cooler, because that will warm up the ice cream too much, and you will never get it back frozen solid enough. So another thing that I like to do, and I like to tell people to do, is make some fake ice cream, put it in the situation. This is if you're using real ice cream. Make fake ice cream, make sure it's in the flavor that you're going to be using. So if it's vanilla, do vanilla. And you put that right on set and style it sort of, so that all the lighting, all the propping, everything can be prepared ahead of time. So when you bring that ice cream out, there will be no tweaking. I mean, you might have to tweak the lights a bit, and I know you photographers know how that goes. If you scoop a sundae and the ice cream is, you know, this tall, and then when you come to do the real thing and it's only this tall, there are going to have to be a little bit of adjustments made last minute. But you don't want to be looking for the sundae spoon. You don't want to be thinking about a blue napkin that you wish you would have gotten out ahead of time. So having everything prepared in advance as best as you can, and doing a little trial run is the best way that I can tell you to succeed at your ice cream shoots. Also, you know, one of the other reasons I think that ice cream shoots are very difficult is because the stylist does not have the proper tools or is not trained properly in technique for the styling itself. It's super important to get those things down. Like I said, I spent a couple years trying to figure this out, and each failure I tweaked a little the next time, but it took me many, many years to learn it. So I am very excited that I can be that person for you and help you learn how to style ice cream too. So yesterday I did a ice cream scooping test, and I was curious about which brands of ice cream might last longest on set. And so I did a video yesterday for you guys and walked through the process and the brands and scooped them all, and then watched how they held up. So I'm going to share that video with you now. And it had some pretty interesting results. And it's in that process too, it ended up not only being which brands didn't melt the quickest, it was also which brands had the most interesting and nice ice cream texture. I think that is super important. You know, not all ice creams have that great texture. There are some that have a very fine texture as well, and some that you will see don't really look like ice cream at all. So if Jessica, who is doing my tech support today, she will be starting that video, and I will see you after it's done. Welcome back. Wasn't that fun? Did you guys learn something today? I have so much fun playing with food. Part of it is the food scientist in me, and I also feel like a food detective when I'm doing that work as well. So, um, it's a lot of fun. So I am so happy to have shared it with you. And you know what I thought of while you guys were watching that is I forgot to mention the most important favorite tool that I have for working with real ice cream, and that is dry ice. Dry ice has saved me plenty of times. And if you know how to use it correctly, you can get your ice cream to last way longer on set. Not only just from the beginning with the way you style it and hold it before you're going to shoot, but while it's on set, you can use dry ice as well. So I have it with me on absolutely every single photo shoot I'm on that we're doing real ice cream. So I'm going to take questions in a few minutes, but I would love to share some exciting news with you guys. Would you like to hear some exciting news? I'm hoping so. In October, I am going to be launching a new class, which is food styling ice cream. And in that class, I will be covering both fake ice cream and real ice cream. The first week is going to be going over how to set up your workspace, what tools you need to get. I will help you with where to get them. As well as making sure that you're prepared. And the second week, we will actually be talking about techniques for scooping, as well as applying toppings, what toppings to use, what toppings to buy. There are a couple store brands I absolutely love and have with me all the time. I will walk you through using dry ice, how to use it, where to get it, how to set yourself up in a way that your ice cream will be lasting a long time on set, and you will not have the same frustrations you've had over and over again with trying to capture that ice cream before it melts. And then the third week, we're going to go over fake ice cream, how to make it, and how to style it, both hard ice cream and soft serve ice cream. I've got some really great tips on all of that. So with the class, the bonuses that I have for you guys today, because you showed up first, I have my ebook for making fake ice cream, which has all the recipes in it for making all different flavors of fake ice cream, as well as how to make soft serve ice cream. So that's one bonus you guys will be getting. The other bonus would be I'm going to offer you guys a 3-month free membership to the Food Styling School, which I'm also launching in October. And this membership will be a paid membership where I will be offering weekly food styling tips, videos, and advice. And part of that too will be a Facebook group where you all will be able to go. It's going to be a private group just for the people signed up for the class. And there we can upload photos. We can talk about techniques if you're having problems. I'll be there to answer. So those special bonuses are for you guys only, and it's for the first 10 people that are signing up today. And Jessica will be posting a button for you guys to click, and you can sign up right away. So I'm hoping to see you in that class, and we will be covering everything you need to know so you can have a successful ice cream photo shoot as well. So now I want to open it up to questions. And if anybody has any questions about what we covered today, I would love to hear them. I am waiting for Jessica. There she is.
Hello.
Hello, Jessica. Do we have questions
We
today?
have some fabulous questions in here today.
Oh, awesome.
I just wanted to make sure I got everybody that sticky lid. The link is now posted to PayPal for anyone who wants to sign up for your advanced ice cream workshop. They can do so by looking in the chat at the top in the green box, and there's a link there for them to go ahead and register.
Excellent.
And let's start with some questions. We've had some great stuff coming through. Let me see here. Wow, they've been busy in the chat.
Good, good.
So let's see. Roseanne, she's been very active. She says she's getting it loud and clear. And
Great.
Michelle says she's learning so much.
Excellent.
And let's see. Leah says, I love using fake ice cream to stage, and then you know how to set up the ice cream later. Brilliant.
Yes. You have to take the time with your ice cream shoots. They're not going to be fast like some other foods. So you really have to take the time to set everything up. That's like the best advice I can give you is be patient.
Yes, absolutely. And then we have here, Gloria wants to know, how do you make fake ice cream?
Well, that is something that will be in my class. I also have an ebook that will be coming out in 2 weeks. That's a recipe book. That is $97, but it's free if you sign up for the class. So that has all the recipes, all the different flavors, and I will also tell you how to make soft serve and how to make it look real, how to apply it. Make it look real.
Soft serve, that's got to be tricky.
Oh, yeah, it is. Well, it's not once you know how to do it. It's actually
Too true, touche. And we have here, Becky would like to know, is there a particular brand of ice cream scoop that you recommend?
You know, these are the ones I love. And let's see if there's a brand name. I don't have the brand name. I can post it in the Facebook group. These I got at a food service supply house. So it's going to be a very common one that all the ice cream parlors use. But I will post that in the Food Styling Critique Facebook group so you guys can get that answer because I'm not really sure what the brand is.
Awesome. That was actually Jenny's response to Becky in the chat. Let's check the restaurant supply stores.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
And we have, forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong, Crystalia. How do you store ice cream? Do you freeze it in airtight containers for ice cream and then scoop it out when ready for the photo shoot? Or do you freeze it in individual scoops prior?
A little bit of both. So you want it in airtight containers for a couple days before you're going to scoop it. But after you scoop it, you will store them in single scoops. So when you're styling your scoop, you want to freeze it again when you have it just right. But yes, you definitely do not want to scoop it and then shoot it the next day. You want to scoop it and shoot it within the hour.
Okay. And we have E who says, I'd love it if we could talk about working with dry ice in terms of preparing perfect scoops before we put them on the set.
Again, that's going to be another thing that we cover in week 2 of my class. It's actually pretty complicated. I have 3 different ways that I use dry ice. One is when I'm actually styling the scoop. One is kind of a temporary holding area for my styled scoops. And then the next is actually using the dry ice on set. But it's better for me to show you live in video form how it's done, which my classes will all be online. They will be all videos. So you will actually see me doing all the techniques. Much easier to do than to talk about it.
Awesome. And E has another question. if we could talk about inclusions, how to work to get them to show their best in a scoop. Guessing that's like chocolate chips in A?
Yes. So like with this, what I did was when I was making the fake ice cream, I actually put the chocolate chips into the batter or dough. I scooped it, and then some pieces will show. You may or may not get what you want that way. Sometimes I will take the inclusions and press them in as well, which can look really fake if you don't know how to do it right. But you always have options. You always have options to add more, or add more where you want them.
Awesome. And one more question from E. What is the best way to scoop to get a perfect old-fashioned frill around the edge? Or is it best to add it afterwards? And how do you make it look natural?
Well, that's where this great little tip comes in, because this is how I love to do what we call the collar. It's excellent for giving you texture. I usually do the two things separately. I will do the scoop separate from the collar. Again, I can show you all that in video. It's actually pretty cool to watch, and it will look very natural, like you really scooped it that way, which of course we know hardly ever turns out that way when we scoop.
All right. And Terry has a great question. What size marble is best?
This piece of marble is probably 15 inches square. I use this one a lot for just at my workstation, but I have some smaller pieces as well if I am just needing something that I can transport to the set. So even just something small, like a small cutting board size, maybe a 8 by 10. Those are nice if you need to be transporting your ice cream, because you don't want to lug around this big heavy piece of marble.
Gotcha. And then Terry also has a question again about the marble. Does the marble surface need to be treated in any way?
All the marble I have is polished. It just seems to work better for being able to slide scoops on and off of it. Or you can use wax paper over the marble to help with being able to move it around. Unpolished marble, you could probably use it, but I would probably put something slippery on top, like parchment or wax paper.
And then last question from Terry. Discuss kinds and sizes of scoops, please.
There are a lot of different sizes. I love using some of these little tiny ones. Say I have like a brownie dessert, and I just want to have a couple cute little ice cream scoops on top. You know, not always do you want to have a big ice cream scoop that's overpowering your recipe. So say the brownie is what you're selling, or the brownie is your recipe on your blog. These little scoops are great because it's not going to overpower what you're really trying to emphasize. But they make these in all different sizes. I hardly ever use the largest sizes unless you're trying to do maybe a root beer float or something where you've got a really big glass. I most always use the spring-loaded scoops. I don't have a lot of occasion to use the paddles, but again, I've seen some really great ones. They're made out of metal, like these are, and you can get some pretty interesting textures with those as well. But I love these, really.
Awesome. We have some more questions coming in. Crystalia says, do you recommend to place one scoop on the cone or more?
I guess it depends on the cone. You know, I've seen some ice cream cones that are really tiny. Then I'd say use a smaller scoop, do one nice scoop on there and that's it, because you want to be able to balance out the cone. I mean, there's those big waffle cones. You might want to do 3 scoops in one of those. It's kind of a visual thing. You can see what looks best with the cone that you're using.
Awesome. And Roseanne says, what type of lighting do you use for the best photo?
As I have proclaimed before, I am not a professional photographer, so I don't give lighting advice, but I can tell you the cooler your lights are, and I mean temperature cooler, the better, because I have worked with some photographers who have hot lights, and the ice cream will melt within seconds because the set heats up so much from those lights. So that's something that you'll want to talk to your photographer about, or if you're doing it yourself, make sure you're getting lights that are cool. Again, also, if I know a lot of you are doing natural daylight, if you put your ice cream in a sunny window, again, it's going to melt pretty quickly. So figuring that out ahead of time is super important too.
Awesome. And we have a great question from Angie, who says, do you recommend chilling the vessel you're going to be putting the ice cream in?
Maybe. That's a maybe. If it is glass, if you chill it, it will get frosted. So if that is something you want, great. I mean, it can really add to the photo to see a frosted glass, especially say it was a root beer float. If it's an ice cream sundae, I wouldn't do it because it would look odd. It would look odd to me that the whole glass gets frosty when you put the ice cream in, unless part of your preparation is to hold them in the freezer. But that is something you're going to have to deal with, is icy and frosty glass. So it's up to you if you think it looks cool. But remember, people are going to look at it and say, I wonder why it looks frozen, why the glass looks frozen. So that's what I have to say about that. It's your preference, but keep that in mind.
Awesome. And a few more questions here. Great questions, guys. Keep them coming.
Yeah.
Diana asks, is it better to use cones or bowls?
Again, it's a personal preference. If your shot is all about the ice cream, if you want to feature that ice cream and it's your star, I would use a cone, because then that ice cream is out there and looking beautiful, and people are going to look directly at that. If you put it in a bowl, you have to make sure that it's still, the ice cream is still being featured. So you want to make sure it goes tall enough. Like this is not quite tall enough, I think, to really emphasize the ice cream. So using a bowl, make sure you pile that ice cream in there. So that's what people are looking at. They don't have to peek into the bowl, that the ice cream is really kind of jumping out of the bowl. Anything else, Jessica?
Okay, we have a question here from Terry, who says, cones, do you put a skewer of something else inside to support the scoop?
I do not. I may support the cone in some way on the set. If the cone needs to be standing up, especially if it's pointy, you're going to have to figure out something to do, and we can go over that in the class as well. You'll have to do something to support that cone, but I do not put anything into the cone. Again, your ice cream scoop is going to be frozen, and hopefully frozen so solidly you won't be able to put anything into it when you're putting it onto the cone.
Awesome. And we have some great questions here from E about your workshop, Jen. They would like to know, with your workshop, is it at a specific time or are you sending a video link to watch whenever we can?
That is a great question. So it's going to be 3 weeks, and I will send you a link to the video when it is ready. So it will be on a specific date. But if you cannot watch at that time, you can go and watch the replay anytime. You'll actually have access to that video forever. So you will be able to refer back to it, watch it again and again, take notes, do whatever you need to do with it. We will then meet in our private Facebook group to talk about what we learned. So those hours will be set up specifically between each class, but you do not have to watch that class at a given time.
All right. And one more question about the class. Will the class be at night and will it be interactive?
It will be at night, and but I know a lot of you are from different countries, so what night is to me might not be for you. I know someone in Australia said they couldn't watch right now because it was 4 in the morning for them. So what I will do, it depends. If we have people from other countries that are in the class, I will figure out a way that we can all meet together after the class. So during the class, you'll be watching a video. After you're done with watching it, we will meet in our Facebook group to discuss it. So it will not be live while it's happening, but you'll definitely be able to interact with me in our group. You'll have full access to me, and I know there's going to be a lot of questions that come up, and I want to see you guys practicing too. So I want to have a chance to see your photos and see what you're all doing.
Awesome. We do have a couple more questions here. Terry has a couple questions about frost. She said that discuss fake frost as real frost can change.
There are a couple products that I use that I have in my ice cream kit. I can make fake ice. I can make crushed ice. I can make frost on a glass. There's 2 different ways I like to do that. But there's a couple special products that I will definitely tell you about in the class and show you how to use as well. And that will keep the frost looking continuously the way that you want. And I'm really glad you asked that, because so much of my job is making sure that things are stable, and to not have to worry about the frost disappearing or changing is a huge deal. So thanks for asking that.
Great question. And then we have one more question from Roseanne. Says, do you dip your ice cream scoops in slightly warm water to help release each scoop and give it a quick rinse in between scoops?
I do not dip it in water. I will wipe it off so the residue from the last scoop is not on there, but I prefer it to be cold. Again, anything to keep that ice cream colder is really important.
All right, awesome. Anybody else have any more questions that you'd like to ask Jennifer? Oh, Terry is a he. Sorry about that, Terry. And oh, here comes a question from Angie. And do you have a trick for keeping ice cream solid when topping with something like hot fudge?
Well, yes. Don't top it with hot fudge, which sounds kind of funny, but you can make something, you can make a fudge that looks hot, or it looks the consistency of hot fudge, but it won't be hot. Yeah, it would be really difficult unless you were shooting instantly. If you wanted to get a little bit of that melt on top of the sundae, you would have to use something warm and you'd have to shoot it instantly. And every single time you wanted to get, let me put that a different way. You would have to bring a new sundae in for every single shot. So if you didn't get it the first time, you'd bring the next sundae in, top it again, take the sundae out, get a new sundae, do it again. So it's really just trial and error. But that's how little time you have with actual hot fudge.
Awesome. And I think that's all the questions that we have so far. Or Roseanne says you could also use cold syrup.
Yes, cold. We like cold with ice cream. Everything should be cold, including yourself.
I don't see any more questions in the system at the moment. So anyone who's interested in taking Jennifer's advanced workshop, go ahead and click on the link in the green box and get registered for that, because we definitely want you guys to get your hands on those hot bonuses that she has for the first 10 people. And oh, wait, I actually see some stuff. There's some action happening here.
All right, action.
All right, Crystal Leah says, have you ever styled ice cream outdoors? If yes, how did you deal with problems that come up?
That is a great question. I'm trying to think if I ever have. I don't believe I have, but if I was going to, if you are shooting where there is a freezer nearby, so say it was in my backyard, I would have everything I needed in my house. It wouldn't be that difficult. It would really be styling everything indoors, running it outside. If you are truly working outside, like in a field, you would have to do everything with dry ice, unless there was a way to have a generator and hooking up a portable freezer. That would be a really difficult shoot to do. Not impossible. I never say impossible, but it would be difficult, challenging, right?
All right. Does anybody else have any other questions for Jennifer? Terry made a point. She said, I've heard some folks use motor oil to stand in for hot fudge.
Ugh.
Ew. Yeah.
I would never use that. I really believe in using as close to the product as possible. So I will always use a chocolate product. I have certain brands that I really love using, but I mean, I had a photo shoot once where the art director wanted to use chocolate colored paint. And I just said no, because whatever's in the paint is going to break down the ice cream, and it's not going to look as real as chocolate does. So always start with the closest thing you can to the product. Motor oil, I don't know. That seems kind of yucky. It could be the whole appetite appeal thing I'm thinking about too. So, but good question. I hear that a lot. I hear the motor oil question a lot.
If they only knew when they saw the photo, right?
Yeah.
What goes on in the background.
Yeah.
Diana has a question. Ice cream popsicle. What do you think about putting them on ice cubes and shoot?
I think that helps you to extend their life. I think I've seen a lot of really pretty photos of popsicles sitting in a tray of ice or crushed ice. I think it looks really nice, and again, it's gonna extend the time. So if that works for your shoot, if it's for your blog or something fun that you're doing and it works, by all means do that. I think it's a great idea, and especially I'm guessing if you're going to have something like that at a party, how do you put popsicles out without them melting? You put them on ice, or you have them in a cooler with dry ice that people can grab them. So I think it's a great idea.
Awesome. And I'm not getting any more questions in here so far, Jen. So it looks like everybody's got a lot to ponder and think about and go try, of course.
Great. I am so happy. I'm hoping that everything today has been very helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the class.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And also take a look in the chat. There is a link to join Jennifer on her Facebook group as well. It's at the very beginning of the chat. If you scroll down, you'll be able to find that. And we'll see you guys online. Have a great day. Oh, wait, somebody snuck in a question. Do you want one more?
Sure.
All right. Terry, he asks, what about hiding some dry ice into the ice cream to keep it cold from the inside?
I have tried to do that in like a sundae glass, where I will layer the ice cream with the dry ice. The problem usually is that the melt starts at the top and around the edges. So inside it does help, but dry ice only works when it's in direct contact or in the direct vicinity, like where the vapors from the dry ice can help keep it frozen. So I think that's a great idea, and I think it can extend the life by at least some time, but it's not going to prevent the melting on the top or on the sides. But good observation, Terry.
All right, and that looks like everybody's saying thank you and that it was great information, and we hope you got a lot of value, and we would love to see you all in the ice cream class coming up. If you have any questions, you can reach out to Jennifer on her Facebook page or from the email that you'll receive from her, and everybody have a great day.
All right, thanks everybody.